Okay, folks, we're going live now. So I've got two windows here. This is the one that stops. I can just close it.
If anything, if you want to like pop open YouTube and delete the old one. Actually, I can go into the I'll go into the other room and do that. Okay.
Good morning. You may be wondering what's with all the yellow. And as it turns out, our fall program, Faith in Action, is color-coded for the 6 weeks. And this is the yellow week. And so we encourage you to get out your yellow hoodie at home. Here we go. But first, we're going to start just by being present and releasing all the baggage and letting go. Good way to start the morning, good way to start our service. Here we go. Am I in the wrong key, Pete?
Yes. Yes, you are, Roger.
Yes, I am. I'm going to let that go too.
But it was the perfect key for that one.
As the wind blows, I let go. As the wind blows, I let go. Let go, let God, let go, let God, let go, let God, let. As the river flows, as the river flows, I let go. As the river flows, I let go. Let go, let God, let go, let God, let go, let God, let go. As the leaves fall, as the leaves fall, I let go. As the leaves fall, I let go. Let go, let God, let go, let God, let go, let God, let go. Play it now. As I breathe in, as I breathe in, I let go. As I breathe out, as I breathe out, I let go. Let go, let God, let go, let God, let go, let God. Let's sing that one again as I breathe. As I breathe in, I let go. As I breathe out, I let go. Let go, let God, let go, let God, let go, let God. And as the sun shines, as the sun shines, I let go. As the sun shines, I let go. Let go, let God, let go, let God, let go, let God, let go. Let go, let God, let go, let God, let go, let God, let go. All right, good morning, and Paul Freeman, come on up. Welcome, Paul, as our platform assistant elf this morning.
So, good morning, and as Roger said, I'm Paul Freeman, and as I stand here in this sacred place and look out the windows, today is truly the day the Lord has made. So please, okay, and I was going to say, please join me in rejoicing and being grateful, so yay. For my reading today, it's an old favorite, Psalm 24. And if anybody feels like some of the things that are going on in our world today makes you feel like you're walking through a gloomy valley, here's what the psalm has to say as you walk through this valley. The Lord is my shepherd. I fear nothing. In meadows of green grass, he lets me lie. To the waters of rest, he leads me. There he revives my soul. He guides me by paths and virtue for the sake of his name. Though I pass through a gloomy valley, I fear no harm. Beside me, your rod and your staff are there to hearten me. You prepare a table before me under the eyes of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup brims over. Oh, how goodness and kindness pursue me every day of my life. My house, the house of the Lord, as long as I live. And now for our mission statement. The mission of Unity Church in Albany is to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service. And our vision, we celebrate the oneness with Spirit and with the divine nature of all. And as always, we are a praying community, and this information is all on unityalbany.org, but you can email at unitypraise@gmail for your prayer request, and they will be prayed on locally for 30 days and sent to Silent Unity for another 30 days. And again, all this information is on our website. And the first announcement, this evening at 7 is the first class of our Spirit program. It's a 6-week program. And on the next slide, you can see all the possible classes. Is there one more? Oh, okay. Anyway, there's 8 different times and dates. There's Sunday at 7, which I'm in. There's a group at 11. There's a group at Tuesday. There's a group Wednesday. If you go to unityalbany.org, you can find a way to sign up for a class. And it starts today, so this is your big chance to get in before it starts. And next, Heather.
Good morning. Well, I don't know about you, but the time has passed in such an odd and warped way over the last 6 to 8 months. On March 2nd, we thanked our former board and a new board came in. On March 13th, the church closed. And on March 18th or so, Reverend Steve came on board to help. And here we are in October. We have all, as a community and congregation, come through an amazing time. And we're strong and we're sailing strong in waters that are new to all of us. And I just want to tell you that your board is delighted to be working with you and on behalf of you and are looking forward to the next stages. We are making progress in the transition process. As you know, the first part of the pandemic period was spent stabilizing ourselves and figuring out who are we in a virtual or remote world in existence. And having figured that out, and if you haven't been one of the people who's joined into our Zoom groups, you may want to try it, even if you have an aversion to the idea of being on a screen. We were talking the other day about what surprising sweetness and intimacy there can be in showing up for fellowship after church on Sunday or any of the other number of Zoom opportunities. So come join us, even if you have an aversion to being on the screen, which I do. I can even be a little screen phobic, but it's been so worth it to get onto these Zoom calls. So as we've kind of figured out who we are in the boomer world, we have also moved in deeply to the transition process. So in July, we went through the Hopkoff, honoring our past and creating our future process. And you'll hear more about that shortly. And then we went into a discernment on September 12th of core values, mission, and vision. And we met for, I think, 3 or 4 hours that Saturday. A whole bunch of people from all over Unity showed up for that. And we'll be talking about that in just a moment. And then we had 2 more meetings to further refine and discern. And we now have a set of core values, vision, and mission that we're sending out to the community. You may have seen it in yesterday's newsletter. And we will be having a town hall in 2 weeks on October 18th for us all to come together virtually to discern whether the proposed vision, mission, and core values resonate for us as a congregation. Because the final voice on what is a true statement of our core values, our mission, and our vision is our congregation. Okay? So I'm going to take you through the first, the update on the next stage is having gone through honoring our past and creating our future and core values, mission, vision. We are now launching the Minister Search and Find team, which many people have been waiting for anxiously. The time has come, and you have a chance, if you have any sense of an itch or an interest or a calling to be on the Minister Search and Find team, please send in an application. We sent it out yesterday in the newsletter. Send it in by Friday, October 16th by close of business, which for our purposes is 6 p.m. Eastern, and fill out an application. They're really interesting questions. I think you'll find it fun to answer, and send it in. And what we will then do is on a week later or so, the board is going to get together, having reviewed all of the applications, and then we'll discern what the core group will be that will be our search and find team. We are hoping and praying that we get people from all different parts of our congregation, all different groups, all different aspects of society, young, old, retired, newly working, with babies, never had babies, you name it. Please discern whether this might be yours to do. I was on the search and find team last time that gave us Reverend Crystal. It was an incredibly enlivening, fun, sacred time. So I heartily recommend that you consider applying. We're looking forward to hearing from all of you. So your application needs to be in by October 16th. If you know of somebody who might be interested but doesn't use a computer, let us know, because we're also sending out hard copies. And we want to make sure that everybody who might be interested in being on that team gets a chance to let us know. So in addition to the application for the search and find team, we also sent out yesterday in the newsletter a senior minister survey. This is so that we get a chance to hear from you what you now discern to be the key attributes and qualities that you want to see in our next minister. Please get that to us by October 16th as well. And as I said, links are in the newsletter for both the survey and the application. And again, if you know someone who doesn't get on the computer but would be interested, let us know, because we were trying to reach everybody. So this is the town hall that I mentioned that we're going to have in 2 weeks from today. It'll start at 12:30, and we're going to discern whether the proposed vision, mission, and core values resonate with our congregation. Those of you who were part of this process a year or two ago may remember this wonderful meeting we had downstairs in Fellowship Hall, where everybody listened to the proposed vision and mission, and then shared what resonated or what they thought might be a good tweak. And at the end of that meeting, we came up with our current vision and mission. So we're going to be doing that, but virtually, and we're also going to be touching on core values. So we have never done our core values before. We've done our mission and our vision. And as you can see, our core values are on the wall there. And I'm going to ask you all who are tuning in virtually to take a moment and close your eyes and see how these words feel to you as I read them. It's all about love. We are a spirit-centered community. We warmly welcome all. We celebrate diversity. We walk our talk with integrity. We are joyful and compassionate. We practice sacred service. we claim spiritual abundance. And so it is. It feels like a prayer, doesn't it? So our draft mission is very similar to the current one because we all felt the truth and resonance of our current mission statement. We also discerned a sense of wanting to reach out more into the community and the world. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes again and listen to the new revised proposed mission statement that we want you all to think about and see again, how does this land for you this very first time? Our mission is to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service in our community and our world. And so it is. And now to our mission. And you'll see our mission really reflects the discernment we had that we are called to take spiritual awakening and ourselves as spiritually awakening beings out into the world. So take a moment to take a look at it because this is new. And then I'm going to read it aloud again and ask you if you can just take a moment to close your eyes and see how these words land for you. And in the next 2 weeks, try that several times just to see whether it resonates or whether there are things that you think could be tweaked. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. That's our vision of the world, and so it is. Whoops, I went a little bit more here. So honoring our past, creating our future. The first session happened in July, and since then we've had a hearty follow-up team of Carol Morris and Peggy Kaufman and Deb Foss and Reverend Steve and Sharon Stewart do some refinements on it so that we are very clear about what we came up with in terms of discerning what we are honoring from our past and where that puts us in the present and where we want to go with it. So you will be seeing in our newsletter and on our website a short article explaining the process, what came up, and how we're incorporating this into our lives as we move forward. Thank you. Back to Paul.
Thanks, Heather. The next two announcements are just, this is a normal week. At 12:30 today, like we have at every other Sunday, we're having an hour fellowship. And you have the Zoom link, so just come and join us. And the next one, Terry? Okay, but also the three things during the week. Tuesday at our Monday evening book club, 7:30 or 7 o'clock, and that's a normal meeting. Okay. And Tuesday at noon, heart to heart, and Thursday 9 a.m. the prayer and fellowship. So it's a normal week, and the same events that you're used to are going to happen this week also. And then next Saturday, last chance outdoor service, Tawasentha Park, starts at 10:30. Bring your own chair. It's outdoors. Tremendous opportunity for social distancing. And my wife, Dottie Freeman, has already gone to weather.com, put in a very strong request that will be taken care of. 65 degrees and no rain. So join us outdoors, last chance for outdoor service. And again, thank you for all your donations. You can mail in checks to Unity here on Bradford Street, or you can go to PayPal and use the electronic means of donating to Unity with your credit card. And I think now, today's daily word. I am fearless as I live authentically. In the past, I may have hidden my inner light, afraid to be myself. I may have tried to please others by conforming to someone else's idea of who I should be. I may have shrunk from an aspiration, fearing that I would fail in pursuit of my goal. I may have doubted the divine perfection at the core of my spiritual self, identifying with the perceived flaws and feeling small and inadequate. Today, I make a new choice. I choose to live fearlessly, drawing upon my faith to believe in myself, my imagination to envision my best life, and my understanding to know my divinity. Bold and brave, I am fearless as I live my life authentically, pursue my dreams, and express my divine nature. And so from the Old Testament, from Deuteronomy, be strong and bold, have no fear or dread, because it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. Again, I am fearless as I live authentically. And now Roger and the music team will come up here and be authentic.
Hopefully we'll be authentically in the correct key as well.
Authentic key. Authentically in the correct key.
God, you are every mountain. God, you are every ocean. God, you are every canyon, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every morning. God, you are every midnight. God, you are every moment, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. God, you are every sunrise. God, you are every moon glow. God, you are every star shine, every inch of earth and sky. God, you are every springtime. God, you are every snowfall. God, you are every season, every second of my life. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. 'Cause you are the very breath I breathe, and your perfect love created me. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Everything I see, everything I do, everything I am is you. Everything above, everything below, everything I know is you. Amen. Okay, Reverend Steve, are you there? Out there in the ethers somewhere?
I am.
The ether bunny is here. I mean, Steve is here.
I think I'm on the screen now. Am I? It's on the way. I don't know.
Yes. Statement of oneness is up.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is a day that is so much is up in our life, is it not? And we are here to be with each other. This time of what's up on the planet and what's up inside of us and with brothers and sisters everywhere. And so as we do every Sunday, Unity Church in Albany has a beautiful statement of oneness that as we reflect on it and as we say it with some belief and faith and power, we realize that some of our concerns and worries just sort of fall away. So let's together, if you'd like to speak it out loud, wherever you may be, let's do that. Together, the power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe. That one is God, the good, omnipotence. And so it is. And now we prepare for meditation as we are blessed by a meditation chant.
And here's a song by our dear friend Sarah. Beautiful song called An Opening.
Oh, give me an opening that I may see some light. Oh, give me a softening that I may feel the warmth. Oh, give me arms that open, that I may use them for embracing. Oh, let me learn to love without ceasing, without restraint.
Oh, give me an opening that I may see some light. Oh, give me a softening that I may feel the warmth. Oh, give me arms that open, that I may use them for embracing. Oh, let me learn to love without ceasing, without restraint. Oh, give me an opening that I may see light. Oh, give me a softening that I may feel the warmth. Oh, give me arms that open, that I may use them for embracing. Oh, let me learn to love without ceasing, without restraint. Without ceasing, without restraint.
It's so beautiful. Oh, we move into a time now of letting go and allowing ourselves to realize that there is a place within us where there is perfect love, where we know and we believe and we trust. As we take a deep breath, we let the music harmonize our thoughts, our feelings, our willingness to be open to all that is. We give thanks in advance for the opening that we have of seeing light, of being light. We give thanks for the willingness to be softening, to moving away from judgment without discernment, to love unconditionally. We see ourselves moving into an awareness that we see beyond the veil. And there is a part of us we know where we are an infinite being, as is everyone else that we've ever known and know now or ever shall know. And so we take a breath, a very, very deep breath, releasing and repeating for a moment, realizing that we do have a lot of letting go to do. We have a lot of remembering of oneness, remembering of our divinity. And so we move now into the rich, deep silence where we know, where we are merely being in the silence. As we shift our awareness back to the space where we are, we open our eyes to the light of peace, the light of promise, the light of all possibility. We see that we are the ones that have always been chosen. Everyone on the planet has. And for this moment in time, we realize that there's a place for us in the unfolding life that we have an awareness. that's right in our face, right in our space, right in our heart. And so give thanks. Thanks for the joy that's unfolding. Thanks for the clarity and the wonder and the promises lived and kept. In so many ways, as we come forth from this time of moving inward, of having a mystical experience, in so many ways we realize that we always are living on whatever the top of the mountain might be. And we live and we are the mystic that we were born to be. And so we say, Amen. And so it is. Well, today is a wonderful day. We're beginning this new study of this book that I think is really wonderful, Living from the Mountaintop, Be the Mystic You Were Born to Be. And it's really all about spiritual unity principles. It's all about universal spiritual principles. And I think one thing that we do know is it's so beautiful to be part of unity and to realize that there is a place where we all join together with brothers and sisters in some spiritual truths. And so one of the spiritual truths is that there is a mystical journey. And so what we're going to be talking about today is suggestion that I have is the mystical journey is right now. It's for all of us. And we sometimes don't know what some words mean, like mystical, but we're here to learn. When we learn to think of things as separate from other things, well, we give them names. And I love that phrase. It's just awesome. And Christian Sorensen, who I've met and is a wonderful man. He's a minister and he's one of our sister denominations leaders, Centers for Spiritual Living. And he wrote in his book, Mysticism is the passionate, conscious union with the pure essence of life. So you may be wondering, like I have been, what is spiritual mysticism? And what is it all about? I mean, I don't know that I've ever known something that wasn't spiritual, or that I've never known an absence of a presence of God, presence of spirit. So with mysticism, over the years, and if we go back to even the Christian era, we look at who have the people on the planet been that we would these days call awake, or spiritual masters and spiritual teachers like Jesus, like Buddha, like Allah, and names of that come up like Allah, and names of our ministers, names of writers. And over the years, it's always been some incredible pushback. And to this day, there continues to be some wars fought over what is true. And quite often, the spiritual gifted, and in the earlier days, they were called mystics. They were killed. They were murdered horrendously. And so a lot of people were not ready to move into what we nowadays could call a different level of spirituality. And so what is mysticism? Mysticism for me has to do with realizing the spiritual nature of all humanity. And in this book that we're looking at, and for those of you that have studied, joined one of our 8 study groups that are meeting once a week this week, and it's not too late to join. You just hop online or the newsletter and contact the church office and see if there's which group meets around the time you'd like to go, because it's diving into some material that we really can't do much. I can't do much on a Sunday morning with 15 or 20 minutes sharing. But as we read and join together in consciousness, we have all kinds of amazing insights. And insights is what it's all about. The word insight. It's within. The sight of light is all within us. And so what's so beautiful is to realize what Unity has been teaching and what Charles and Myrtle Fillmore taught is that we are all children of light, children of God, that God is a loving presence. It's a spirit. The idea of spiritual universal principles exist and that everyone is a light upon the world. Whether we want to believe it or not, that's the truth. And so one thing that really is beautiful about this book is that Christian Sorensen talks about our soul work. And it really is talking from some of the meditations he has, and he has it on page 30 of the book. And the soul, meaning the part of ourselves that is absolutely eternal. And yes, there's some debates about, well, do we live forever? Do we come back and live? What is it after we leave this planet in physical form? What comes next? Well, it's a good question. But what steps out for me is what Christian Sorensen talks about soul work. You're welcoming to the world is what he's saying is so important. So this is what you might want to pay attention to. The world sang the day you were born. Now, part of this journey in this book, getting to the mountaintop, a lot of us have a hard time focusing on that. But can you focus on, imagine where you were and who was with your family when you were born? Your mother was with you. Was there other people with you when you were brought home? The world sang the day you were born. The world beyond our awareness at the level of consciousness, because of consciousness of itself was brought into physical form, which was you. You arrived upon a star which glimmered brightly, hovering in the sky after your arrival. Not just for JC dudes and dudettes. Upon your birth, you were marked for significance, for the gifts you bring is what this world hungers for. You were born with a flutter of joy in your heart and a twinkle in your eyes. Doesn't this resonate with you? Doesn't it bring back some memories? You bound into your existence with a skip in your step. Your connection with the infinite was unwavering as you were born into greatness. You were born into greatness. You have been anointed with an important mission to fulfill, and you are so worthy. Well, so, and if you're like me, sometimes that's just, it gives me a glow in my heart to hear that about myself and others. And lots of times I'm fairly good at seeing that in others, especially when we're with babes as they come in and children, we know. And it's like part of what this book is all about is acknowledging that you have been welcomed to the world in ways that are beyond probably, possibly your acceptance. And so will you, again, take another look at seeing that, yes, I claim my inheritance as a divine child of God. I claim my identity. Further, he says in page 31, welcome to this new world. This christening is a mystical welcoming and a celebration of your awakening and arrival to this new way of your soul's expression. So in some ways, what mystical is all about for me is acknowledging not only that the teachings that we've heard throughout the centuries that would suggest that everyone is a mystical being, everyone has mystical experiences, but just to dive deeply into it. And maybe the languaging is, yes, people might say, well, a lot of this book is really not unity. Well, excuse me, it is. Some of the languaging is different than what we've had, but there are universal spiritual principles. And this is one of this, one of the ways of taking a look at. He says, the ritual of being immersed in spirit is a realization of the infinite power of life that is within you. That's a powerful, let me say that again. The ritual of being immersed in spirit is a realization of the infinite power of life that is within you. Eric Butterworth wrote the best-selling Unity book, Discover the Power of God Within You. Discover the power within you. So it's all about rediscovery. And so to see beyond the veil is what we are talking about with mysticism. And so in lots of ways, as you read this book and as you hear the Sunday lessons coming forth, and we'll be hearing perhaps from other people besides myself on these Sundays, if there's someone that really has some kind of aha experience in your study group, chances are you will. But will you see beyond the veil? Will you integrate a lot of what we are reading and what we see in life to our journey, and do it in a way that yes, there may be some boundaries, maybe some pushback that you have to either set or to push back on. There may be other folks that say, what the hell are you talking about? That happens all the time. And yet in this world, I mean, what can we say about the world and about this fast pace of all that is? The fast pace of all that is, it really has to do with our awakening to all that is. It's so beautiful what Unity Church in Albany has done with the new, it's now a draft vision statement, that saying that the vision of this spiritual community is to step up and on to the world stage. We see a world that is powerfully spiritually awakening, and that's why we are here. That's what the Unity movement is about, and that's what this book is all about. You want to say living from the mountaintop seems impossible. Look at the barriers that we have. We could rattle on and on about the challenges that are here, the corona, the racial stuff, the political stuff, and yes. And if you were choosing to believe that you live on the mountaintop, like right now, the mountaintop experience is possible. And so if you were to live on the mountaintop, what would that look like for you? And then what are the barriers you've placed up to saying, I can't be this happy right now? And in some ways that's really true, because we have a lot of pain in our heart. We have people in this community that have been ill and have lost loved ones, and we've lost some of our own. And, you know, there is this pain. And that's why we are in this spiritual community, to be joining hands and to be like a remembrance society that Unity as a movement is, to help us remember, in addition to allowing ourselves, our humanity, to grieve, to let go of fear, to realize that fear is merely a call to return to awareness of love's presence within us at all times. And so, do we have the wisdom within us to listen? So one of the questions that come up that we introduced for this fall program, this fall program has been around the Unity movement for a couple of decades, and a lot of churches have done something every year, sometimes twice a year, with the fall programs, small study groups, and so on. That part is not new to Unity Church in Albany. And what we did integrate this time, without a lot of explanation, I will say, and I'll take some responsibility for that, but you're going to get it now. You heard Roger say when and you saw the camera shot of what's the deal with all the yellow in the sanctuary, and then on this sheet that if I don't know if it's online yet, but it's going to be there. We have a different color for every week. Next week is going to be blue, and so what's the deal with the colors? Well, Charles Fillmore, our Unity's co-founder, created a scheme that he believed was really very powerful. We call it the 12 powers. He believes that every human being has gifts of God within them, gifts that are faculties, that are ways that help them live in this spiritual world and also to live in the human world. And it's called the 12 powers. And some people have said, well, the 12 powers seem to also correlate to chakras, the whole chakra system. And other people say, oh no, that's too woo-woo. But the chakra system, for example, you know, with the pressure points, the points of power in the body all over the place. And so yellow has some significance. I'm going to pull this up and let you see um, something here, if I can do this right. So wisdom is one of the 12 powers. And wisdom is found, some people suggest, in the pit of our stomach. And the color for wisdom is yellow. And here, from a higher consciousness, spiritual awareness level, from being and living on the mountaintop, wisdom is the ability to discern and be wise based on divine ideas, truths, principles, and laws, spiritual laws. The ability to know how to use what we spiritually understand. So that's wisdom. Some people say that's judgment. Well, it's wise judgment. It's discerning. It's being wise. It's so when we don't always live from a mountaintop, do we not? Because the world gets our attention, and sometimes it's like coming down. But on the other hand, it's like right now we can shift from higher consciousness and spiritual awareness to sense or personal consciousness, the ability to judge and evaluate based on sense, human consciousness, error thoughts, mistakes, sin, and feelings, judging based on worldly standards, judging, judgmental, discrimination, shrewdness. Now, and some people would say, well, that also sounds like ego-based. Well, that could be. And also, we do need the ego. Ego has a function that we need if we're in this world, which we are. But we can do so from a higher perspective if we choose wisdom. And so here is an affirmation that I would suggest for you. You can write this down if you want. In fact, I'm going to, in a minute, go back over those slides. And those of you that want to pull out your camera, if you haven't already, you might want to take a picture of those. You don't need to. But here's this affirmation for this week. And as you are opening to the wisdom that's in you, that the wisdom you may find in this book, that's a reminder of what you already know, and a wisdom to as you're moving through like the rest of today and awakening stage, what level of wisdom are you guided to? And let's say this affirmation, being guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. And so let's, when I say the word together, let's say this in unison. Together, I am guided by divine wisdom in every thought, word, and action. And I'm going to back up these slides. If you want to take a photo of these, you can do so. And if not, may you understand. Intuitively, do you not understand what spiritual wisdom is? Intuitively, we know that. And we also intuitively, we know what sense wisdom is from the body, from the ego. And we also know we have a choice. We can make a decision. We have the ability within to make incredible choices. And so what is yours to do? And where are you willing to move this week? One thing that's on my plate for wisdom is to really focus on being aware of what I'm bringing and what I'm giving back to this world. It's not as much about behavior, because so often I do behave myself. It's too bad sometimes. No, I do behave myself, and a lot of us do. We know what we need to do. We put on a smiley face sometimes and so on. But what is beyond the veil that I seem to be believing in and acting as, preventing me from either taking spiritual action, divine action based on spiritual wisdom? I had a sense of, I voted early here in Kansas City, Lee Summit. I had a time with the poll, how to get everything straightened out, being back in Albany, I had decided I was going to vote absentee ballot because I didn't know when I was going to come back, or maybe later than November, and I had to go through all kinds of stuff too. And it worked out fairly quickly, and a very wise move on part of lot of people. I think spiritual wisdom that I came back home here, and so I had to go through a lot of getting my voting records straightened out. And so when I was over there, there was a line of people that were voting, and I had an incredible time of connections with all of them and the people that were volunteering. And I just sensed that there was nothing and no one that could ever be against this process of people coming forth and to see the beauty of people stepping up and into. And part of me sometimes I've said, if you're like me, I want to say, "Ah, enough is enough. I'm just going to, no more nothing. But I want to get back to the world. I want to integrate higher awareness to the activities. I don't want to say I'm living on the mountaintop only on Sundays, only when I read a book that I think is great, or only when my spouse or when our politicians behave themselves. How about myself behaving myself? So wisdom is the ability to evaluate, discern, and my stomach feels so much better when I'm coming from love, coming from an awareness that, oh, yes, the mountaintop experience is now. So God bless you on this journey of yours, and as you move into your group, your study group, you're gonna bless their little socks right off, and they will bless your little socks right off. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that when it gets to be cold weather. I wonder how that goes down. I don't know. Okay. Well, so anyway, God bless you, and we have some music now. Here between heaven. God bless you.
A number of times in the past, we've had a visit from Charlie Thweet here. Always great when Charlie can come and be with us, and this is one of his songs that I think speaks very well to Steve's message and to the opening chapters of from the mountaintop. Let's see. We come from the beyond and return there again, here for a moment in time, to give all we can here between heaven. Here between heaven.
Is this all just a story we're making up? Are we thoughts in the mind of God? Is this all just a journey to remember to love, no matter what things may come?
I choose to remember to stay awake, no matter the situation. With every turn, may I always take love my initiation. Here between heaven, between heaven, we're between heaven, between heaven. Into darkness life may take me, into places of pain, and it might feel insane.
To light I can go freely, where compassion is known and my heart is my own.
Here between heaven. We're between heaven. We to remember to stay awake, no matter the situation. And with every turn, may I always make love my initiation. I choose to remember to stay awake, no matter the situation. And with every turn, may I always make love my initiation. Here between heaven and earth, we're between heaven, here between heaven, we're between heaven. We come from the beyond and return there again, here for a moment in time to give all we can, here between heaven.
I love that song. What a powerful, powerful gift it is. Choosing to remember to stay awake, no matter the situation. And as we place our attention now on the flow of giving and receiving, and the flow of giving and receiving financial gifts, we pay attention to how we feel and what our thoughts are about this. You are a spiritual being having a human experience, and for some of us on this call, whether you're brand new or whether you're been around for a while, um, we're wondering around, well, where does Unity Church in Albany get all of its funds? Do they receive funds from the Unity movement? Well, 100% of funds from Unity Church in Albany come from within this community, members and non-members of this spiritual community. And so one of the things we do teach in Unity is the very powerful principles of abundance in many different forms, divine abundance. And that as we give consistently to a source or sources of where we receive our spiritual food, which for many of us now and on this call would be Unity Church in Albany, we are blessed, and what we give multiplies. And this is a statement that really is a very sacred statement, in that we affirm and we give thanks for the good that we have, and we are so excited and thankful that we can share it. So let's affirm this offering statement aloud together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother God. And so it is.
And so it is. Amen. And now we want to give thanks to everyone who's been part of this service to help put this on. We particularly want to give thanks for those of you that for the first time might be joining us on live streaming, or maybe seeing this on recorded YouTube. We're really blessed by you, and you have an invitation to be a part of this spiritual community. It just might change your life in ways beyond your wildest imaginings. And we want to give thanks to our AV people and to our musicians, and we hold in our heart Jerry for the loss of her brother Jeff recently. We send her and the family and Jeff our love, and knowing that his soul is in a place where there is perfect peace and perfect love, and that is all there is. And so for this time, we also look at our screen, and we have a time of remembering that there is, oh grief, oh joy.
Oh, grief, oh, joy, held in the very rhythm of my beating heart. Oh, grief, oh, joy, may you come together so I won't fall apart. Breathe in, breathe out. Gather your strength. Breathe in, breathe out. Remove all doubt. You are held. You are held. You are held. Surrounded, grounded. Dig down into your roots. That's where it all begins. Reach up into the stars. Embrace all that you are. Oh, you are held. You are held. You are held. Surrounded, grounded. Dig down into your roots. That's where it all begins. Reach up into the stars. Embrace all that you are. Oh, you are held. You are held. You are held. Surrounded, grounded by love. By love. By love. By love.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yes, we are surrounded by love. And I want to give thanks to all of our musicians. You're awesome. You're beautiful. You certainly made a difference for all of us. And so we hold in our heart and mind the youth of the world. We see them with us right now, those that we know that are part of our lives. We see that they are loved and accepted just the way they are. We affirm that for the youth that are on their way to Unity Church in Albany and youth that are in our life. We process for this blessing as we say it first aloud for our youth to them, and then we pause in a silence and we hear them saying it back to us in our hearts. So together, God loves you and accepts you just the way you are, and I love you and accept you just the way you are. I behold the Christ you are. Your turn, youth. Your turn. And so it is. And now before our prayer for protection, I do want to give thanks to everyone that helped make this service possible. And not only the musicians and AV people, but for Paul and for Heather. And also a shout out to you, Carol, for the stage is beautiful with the yellow banners and the yellow flowers. And you all are just helping us step into faith in action, making it a wonderful, wonderful adventure. And so now our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. Now we let it be.
We let the love wash over us. We let it be. And we let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. Sing it again, and we let the peace wash over us. We let it be. One last time, we let the love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. 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 There will be an answer. There will be an answer. Let it be. One more time. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be. Amen. So be it. Let it be. Have a great week. I think that's it for us. All right. Blessings.